Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
Outside the castle, the citizens are gathering in large numbers, demanding that the king return the taxes they have paid to the country. How dare you waste our hard-earned money? Inside, the servant is guiding her mistress Teresa to find a place to hide from the crowd, in case they break into the castle and harm her. She said, "What's going on?" In this unfamiliar situation, she didn't know what to do. Her guard said, "The people are revolting. Your Highness, you have to evacuate now. The nobility has already gone ahead." He was searching for a way to get her away from the threat of the crowd. Ivolo was her guard. He immediately grabbed her hand and rushed her out of danger. Teresa didn't want to leave without Sariel. In the end, she turned back and asked Sariel to come with her. Sariel bid farewell to her mistress Teresa amidst the engulfing smoke and fire. It might be the last time she would see her. Sariel stayed behind to protect the castle where she had grown up. Teresa still couldn't believe that such a farewell would ever come. At that moment, the soldiers from the rebel army had broken in. They spotted Teresa and shouted, "I found them! They're over here!" Because the rebel army was too numerous, Ivolo decided he couldn't accompany her and stayed behind to hold them off. He said, "Go! Leave this to us. Run, Lady Teresa. Your Highness, from here on out, you must not let your guard down. Please take the stairs down from here. They will take you outside. Run." After saying that, he opened the door and pushed her outside. Worried about Ivolo, she turned back and said, "But what about you, Ivolo?" He replied, "I promise, Your Highness, I'll follow soon." She replied, "Promise." He thought, "No matter what, stay safe, Teresa. I will protect you. I won't let you go any farther." He closed the door to hide her from the soldiers and turned back to fight until his last breath to protect the gate. Ivolo and Teresa had grown up together since childhood. They had shared many happy and sad moments, making this parting all the more painful. Outside the gate, she cried and called out loudly, "Ivolo! He's been by my side since we were children, but I have to keep going." She went down the stairs, and after a while, she saw a light at the end of the tunnel. She thought to herself, "What is that light? Maybe that passage leads outside." At that moment, the sound of footsteps echoed from within the tunnel, and a knight in black armor appeared. His face looked sorrowful and stern. It was Sir Tuck. She said, "I'm so glad you're okay. You haven't been injured, have I?" Before she could finish, he interrupted, "You're going in a cell." "Follow me." She didn't understand what was happening. "What? Lord Tuck? What do you mean, a cell?" He ordered, "Shut up and come quietly." He had actually sided with the rebels and had been waiting there to capture her. As they headed toward the cell, she saw Mother, Father, Maria, Claude. They were already inside the cell, all tied up and sitting on the ground. She asked, "Why are you all here?" Everyone looked at Teresa, but they were powerless to help, as they were also imprisoned. After the soldiers had put her in the cell, Tuck said, "All right, that's all of them." Her father shouted, "Duke Marseille, you bastard! Do you really think you can just raise a coup and cast me aside? I am heir to the Soleil family. Holy blood runs through my veins. Angry, Tuck drew his sword and pointed it at her father, causing him to panic. Tuck said, "The Soliel family, indeed, your lineage is impressive." She said, "Lord Tuck, why are you doing this? The Lord Tuck I know would never do this." He was angry now, something he rarely showed. He said, "However, you have thrown your citizens to the wolves with your boundless greed. You are unworthy of being called a king. You are a blight upon this nation. You must be purged. Thrown the people to the wolves. When did we do anything like that?" At that moment, a noble woman with long green hair stepped forward. She appeared to be from another noble family. She said, "I'm sorry to say this is the end of the line for you all. My men just finished making sure the guillotine is nice and sharp." She shouted, "Take them to the gallows." Tuck's eyes wavered at this command. The members of the royal family shouted, "Unhand me now! I am your king! How dare you touch your queen!" Tuck approached, grabbed her hand and looked straight at her. Her mind was in chaos as she thought, "Lord Tuck, is he going to kill me too?" Recalling happier times, there was nothing I enjoyed more than the time we spent having tea together. I loved listening to all your stories. I was never allowed to leave the castle, but you showed me the world. So why? He let her rest her head on his shoulder and then apologized to her, as if he too couldn't go against the orders. She still didn't understand what was happening. It was different from what she had imagined. Rayford said, "How does it feel to put your fiancé in shackles?" "Unhappy," Tuck replied. "Rayford, why did you return?" "Go back to the gallows." Rayford stepped closer and said, "I came to see what was taking you so long. Are you planning to take care of the princess yourself, or were you hoping to have a bit of fun with her first?" Tuck coldly replied, "Don't be vulgar." Rayford said, I feel sorry for you. All this time, did you really never notice that he was using you?" Tuck shouted, "Rayford, quit toying with her." Rayford said, "Listen up, girl. This man is a spy who only got close to the royal family to collect information. And it wasn't very hard, was it, Tuck? I seem to recall you talking about a simple girl who knew nothing but how to laugh and drink tea." This revelation shocked Teresa, who couldn't believe that Tuck was a spy. Tuck yelled, "Rayford, enough." Teresa said, "He was just using me? Then all of those tea dates, the talk of marriage, it was all just to get information out of me?" Rayford said, all right. Well, she knows the truth now. Are you having last-minute regrets?" Tuck said, "Don't be ridiculous. There's nothing to regret." Teresa said, "I've never seen Lord Tuck make a face like that before." At that moment, while holding the chains, Tuck suddenly let go and stepped back. She barely understood what was happening when he, from behind her, his cold gaze and her absolute trust shattered. She fell to the ground, unable to believe her life would end like this, from the man she once planned to marry after she came of age. Her body was in pain now, tears streaming from her eyes. Perhaps this was the last time she would see everyone, the last time she would see him. She whispered inaudibly, "How could you cut me down? And why did you look at me like that, Lord Tuck?" Her eyes slowly closed into unconsciousness. To be continued.